sure of our love. I never thought of any reason, a doubt about us, and now I'm right back at the start. Halfway through a bottle, baby, and nothing's enough. I thought that I could keep it low, take it easy, take it slow. We ended up just like before, so take it easy, take it easy. Thought that I could keep it low, take it easy, take it slow. We ended up just like before, so take it easy. And you know how to forget all the wrongs and every reason why we've changed. And there's a storm inside my head, it's getting me in trouble, baby, and I can't break away. I thought that I could keep it low, take it easy, take it slow. We ended up just like before, so take it easy, take it easy. Thought that I could keep it low, take it easy, take it slow. We ended up just like before, so take it easy. I'm rich, diamonds on my body rich, smelling like Versace rich, Jay-Z and Beyonce rich. I'm rich, I'm rich, I'm rich, diamonds on my body rich, smelling like Versace rich, Jay-Z and Beyonce rich. I'm rich, I'm rich, I'm rich. I'm rich. I'm rich, diamonds on my body rich, smelling like Versace rich, Jay-Z and Beyonce rich. I'm rich, I'm rich, I'm rich.
All right. Ooh. Let off with McConaughey. All right. We used to look up to the stars. Now, we look down to the dirt. Okay. Just leading off with McConaughey. Not even a very good McConaughey, but just lead off with that, you know? All right, chat. What's up? Hope everyone's doing well. My IG went down again. I gotta figure that out. Ah, wow. Right off the bat. Okay. 808 diffraction. Thank you. Let's set everything up really quick. So, 808 diffraction asked a question because in the title of today's stream, I put production and mixing question and answer. Send in questions. So, right off the bat, 808 diffraction asked a question. So, the question 808 diffraction asked was, Maddie, how do I tackle bad CPU in heavy loaded projects? I appreciate that's why we're here. I was gonna do a little. I started with my Matthew McConaughey bit, and that was terrible. So I'm glad you saved me from that. So I appreciate it so much. All right, so the big thing with these projects. So we're working on these projects, right? So let's pull up into our screen. The big thing with these projects, right? You start loading up all these different plugins, right? You start loading all your plugins in your mixer and on every track, right? And then the computer starts to bog down. You hit play, kind of stops, starts, chops up, freezes, all that stuff, right? So, dependent on what portion or what phase in kind of production you're in, you have a couple different options. So, if you are tracking, right? Heavy up tempo is what he said. So, if you are tracking, right? You're recording and you have plugins already put in there, you're going to probably experience some latency, especially through headphones. So, for example, you have a singer or you're recording something, and when you sing into the mic, it comes back to your ear. Late, right? Latency. That's how I try to remember it. So in that situation, you would go into your settings for your DAW, and this is pretty much any DAW has a settings option like this: Pro Tools, Logic, Ableton, right? You go into audio, and you make sure your I/O buffer size is set to a lower number. For tracking, I usually do at 128. That provides enough of, close enough where you're singing and it's not coming in late, right? Only problem is you may run into an issue where you have your template set up and you have compressors and EQs and a bunch of stuff going on because you want to have that sound when you're recording, right? So Logic's nice. It has this option here in the corner, or kind of more in the center top right here, this orange. This is called the low latency mode. So you could flip that on. That's going to shut down all the heavy processing plugins, and then you'll be able to record without latency. So that's a nice solution here on Logic. Pro Tools also has a low latency mode too, so see if you can find that for your DAW of choice, right? Now, say you're producing and it's just a lot of you plugging stuff in, dropping samples, this and that, and you're not necessarily playing on a keyboard or singing, whatever, then at that point you can get back into your settings and change the IO buffer size to a higher setting. So you can go to 6, 512, 124. That should help quite a bit with any kind of the freezing, that you may see crashing and that sort of stuff. So that's another solution. Now, keep in mind, if you do end up wanting to record, you may need to swap back into your lower buffer setting. 128, 256 you might be able to get away with. Or in Logic, you can also try the low latency mode. Crackling of the CPU. At that point, that's when you want to get into the IO buffer size. Okay? All right. So now, some other options, right? So let's pull up a session. We're going to pull up the beat I worked on yesterday. So let's pull that up. So there's more options here. This one I'm sure is not as big as your heavy session. You said you were working in kind of a heavy up-tempo session. So I'm guessing you got a lot of tracks, probably a bunch of plugins going on too. So this is another option. Once again, I forget which DAW you're using, 808, but there may be a solution, because this solution is available here in Logic. It's also available on Pro Tools, and I'm pretty sure it's available on Ableton too. So we'll load this project up, and I'll show you exactly what that looks like. Give me just a second. It's loading this project up. Okay, so my project here, not super huge. It's only 34 tracks. I guess the horns gives us a couple extra here too. So in Logic, Pro Tools, there's a couple of them. Let me just check something real quick. Oh, Rand sent me a picture. Oh, this is you. Yeah, that's a pretty sizable project. Yeah, you got a ton of stuff going on, and I'm guessing you have a lot of plugins going on too, doing all sorts of effects. You got your EQ, compressors, right? Because here's my project, which is just a little bit more than yours, and I got some plugins going on here. You know what I mean? It's not super heavy. This one, the horns, is pretty heavy. But the rest is just kind of effects and whatnot. So, if it looks like you're on FL, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm not sure if FL has an option like this, but you could probably do your own research. In Logic, if I just click on any track and go into track header components, it has this option here called freeze. I'm going to click that, and it's going to show here on my mixer these little snowflakes. And this means that I can click on it, right? And then when I hit play, it's going to do this. It's going to render it, right? Kind of do a bounce. But that bounce is only going to be just for this track, not for a whole track, like when you export. And then it also will shut down the plugins on that channel. So you just have purely an audio track here. What that's going to do, since the plugins are off, it's going to free up some CPU. So with Logic, which is nice, and Pro Tools, I've noticed, is you can select all of them and then have them all freeze. Now, Logic's a little different. Logic, we have a blue snowflake and a green snowflake. The blue means it's going to freeze with all the plugins. The green will only freeze if you're, say, using a MIDI instrument. It'll only freeze that MIDI instrument and then none of the plugins. So you can still adjust your plugins, which is still cool. In this case, for the sake of being able to say processing power, I'm going to switch that green here under track. It's source only, pre-fader. So we'll do this other green, source only, pre-fader. That's going to include all the plugins. Source only, pre-fader. Boom, done. So now I'm all blue. I hit play. It's now going to do bounces that just live on those tracks. So now when I do a playback, it's not going to be using all the processing power. Pro Tools has the same feature. Pro Tools' feature is even better, I'll be honest, because it includes buses. Because you see I have a drums bus, I got this sample bridge bus, I got this horns bus, and you can see on my horns bus, look, all my plugins are there. So that is, might have to switch those. I would just check and see if FL has this feature, because this is super helpful in these situations, you know. So, all right. So, how do we get around? So, my plugins are heavy on this horn, right? I got 6 plugins, right? So, how do we get around this? I guess the other option here would be to fully bounce this horns track, right? So, if I do kind of a bounce of this horns track, I can click there and just put in horns. And hit, I did Control B, but it's also called bounce in place. And it's going to bounce that audio straight up. Boom. So now I can mute my horns. And now that those horns were bounced as an actual track. So yeah, if I want to adjust anything in the plugins, I have to basically delete this, then rebounce it. But now that's bounced and I don't have to worry about, you know, using up too much CPU. So that's how I deal with that. Because in these later years of my production life, I'm using more and more plugins. I'm trying a bunch of different stuff out, and then I'll run into, just like you said, crashing, freezing. So that is, those are some solutions that I have for running into that. Yeah, freeze. I think it's freeze in Pro Tools as well. So you may want to look up FL Freeze Tracks and see if there's something there that can help. So yeah, I'll take more questions. I know 808 has been here asking questions. I only got about 30 minutes, so we'll try to answer as many questions as we can. For whatever reason, my IG is not stable and going offline, so that might be my project later to see if I can fix that. But here, let's take a listen to this track and see where we're at. And then, like I said, 808, if you got other questions, let me know. 808 Diffraction, new question. What is your favorite production and why? Favorite production, can you clarify? Well, this came out nice. I worked on this yesterday morning after the stream. And as you can see, my CPU is a little lower. My ozone is still on here, so I bet you that's really killing our CPU as well. I bet you if I turn that off. Yeah, see how the CPU dropped there? So ozone really takes a lot of processing power. I wonder if there's it makes me wonder if there's a freeze option in ozone. Just like lock in what you have. I don't think there is. Buffer size, soft saturation, filter size. I don't think there is. That'd be great if they did. I guess technically, I've never tried this. We'll do a quick experiment. Um, let's try this. Not ended yet. Sorry. And when you get a chance, 808, well, could you clarify your question? Favorite production? We're going to add a new bus. Boom. I'm going to take out the audio because my audio was going in there. We're going to move Ozone over. Let's call this guy Master, just for now. And then, just for fun, actually, for a reason, Control T. We're going to create that as a track. So now I have the master up here. So I wonder if I can bounce this. I cannot. So I was able to bounce this horn part, but I wasn't able to bounce this master part. And I think it doesn't give us... So my thought was, oh, okay, Ozone is taking up, serious thing. I think I have a solution. I think. Oh, that wouldn't even work. Let's see. Input. I don't know what the input would be. Let's just create it. Because a bus doesn't have any actual audio in it, like on the track on here. So, oh, here we go. New question. What is your favorite tune? Yeah, Justin John, is there a track that blows your mind on skills and overall feeling? I heard so I do pitches. You guys know this. I do pitches for artists and labels too, and I'll receive almost weekly now. It feels like lately weekly. I'll get a lead sheet that says, "Hey, check out these songs and see if you can make something in this vibe, because we want something for our artist." And one of the pitches included a reference for NF, the singer, artist, and it was called Hope, and that's the one I've been kind of working on, and I'm having such trouble because that particular production is like crazy epic and orchestral and huge, and I thought it was really sick. So that's the one I'm kind of working on, and if we're talking super recent, I thought that was really cool as far as a track is concerned. So that would be my answer currently. Okay. So all of these I'm going to... We're going to set... Okay, here's how we're doing it, dude. We're going to set a bus, 32. I don't think I even need that on. Do I? No, that needs to be off. I don't know. We'll see in about 2 seconds here. All right, we're going to set the output to 32 for all the instrument tracks. All right, we may have found the solution. I've been struggling with this for a while, with this Ozone. Bus, 32. Those are all set. That's going to my Ozone. Let's see if it plays back in Ozone. Does not. So the input monitor does need to be on. Okay. Wait. Okay, now we swap Ozone there. And I should be able to freeze it. Freeze. Yes. Oh, that's a good solution. That's a good solution. Oh, here we go. Astus, welcome. Is it hard to make songs like One Heart Narvant style? I don't know what either of those are. I'm guessing it is hard because I don't even know the songs. So let's pull it up really quick. I know I'm not supposed to play on stream, so One Heart. Maybe I should just mute Safari really quick. There we go. So One Heart is an artist? Is that the, or I guess maybe a producer, DJ?
That's me, driving through the country. New vacation home, newly expanded business. You're ready for
I'm pulling it up here. You can probably hear it through my mic, but so this is like kind of a chill. I don't know. Maybe there's a drop. Nice bass. One Heart Snowfall. I'm going to pull that up. A 1 hour loop. Okay, we could listen to it for a while. I think the key with, if you were going to do a track like this, is finding the nice sounds, finding the right sounds. It's very specific on the sound design, right? Don't you guys agree? It's beautiful though, isn't it? There's not much of a beat, huh? There's no drums? Yeah, I don't think it's going to be super hard to create a track in this style, because it's really more about vibe. So, kind of picking your chord progression, picking your melodies, and then I think most importantly, picking the right sounds that fit the vibe. So you wouldn't use like a really crazy, saw, lead there. It sounds like it's kind of softer electric piano or softer kind of plucks or softer kind of pads for something like this. I'm just here. It's beautiful though. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I think those would be the keys for that. Because you have songs with those vibes, not particularly. Mine basically all have vocals and stuff, Although I'll tell you, my EP from years ago has a little bit of kind of that ethereal vibe. I'll play a little bit so you can kind of hear. I wonder if I'll get DCMA'd for my own music.
Let it all sink in.
So if you were to take out,
I've seen you way too often.
if you were to take out the beginning, like the vocals, Shifi, what's up, baby? Good to see you. When are you finishing that song? Send it over. So yeah, the beginning of this has kind of like softer vibes, like what you're doing, what you showed me.
I haven't had the chance to.
I'd love to go back and remix this.
Let it all sink
Not remix, change everything, but just remix the actual audio.
I've seen you way too often.
Even my vocal kind of fits in that style too, just soft, you know, just making those kind of choices.
Photos in my albums, your text on my phone. I supported you at the last show,
So
now
you got kind of an idea, like, yeah, like you can achieve that sound, you know. So I do have, I guess, stuff that's kind of like that, but that vibe's a whole different thing, I think, than mine, because I have vocals on it, and then about halfway through that song, beat comes in. There's no drums, you know. At least from what I heard from that clip on YouTube, you know. So that's something to think about. Cool. Thank you for that question. Chat over on Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, if you guys have production or mixing questions. I got about 14 minutes before I got to run, so please feel free to send over any questions. So this worked. I made a master bus, but instead of making it a bus, I made it a track. And now what I can do is I hit freeze, so all the audio is now frozen as its own file here, which means I can play back, mute everything. Oh, no, did not work. Or maybe I didn't freeze it. Oh, I guess it didn't work. Damn it. I thought that was the workaround. All right, let's run in that freeze one more time. Yeah, if you guys got questions, please put them in the chat. Let's see if we can answer them for you. Try our best, at least. We got one from 808 Fraction. Astas asked a question. All right. So I hit freeze. Nope, didn't work. Oh, I know what it is. No, I would have to do a real-time freeze, which means literally I have to record the whole thing. Okay. There's not really an elegant solution for that, unfortunately. That's a shame. I was hoping that was going to work. So I guess put that on the just stereo out bus. We could delete these guys. I got to find something for that, because, like, Haxie, welcome to the chat. New beat, Haxie, here it comes. If you got a production or mixing question, feel free to ask in the chat. Oh, shit. I routed these, so I need to reroute this stuff back to the stereo out. Output. Stereo output. And there's a... Gotta name these too as I'm going. Just so I know what the hell they're doing. Ha! Nightbot was blocking everything Hacksmouse said. So this one will be pitching for sure. Yeah, the reference for this was a Shawn Mendes and Justin Bieber song. I tried Being Happy, and Nightbot was like, nah, fam, depression only. Nightbot's weird, man. I like this track. I like this horn. I didn't even, when I was making this, I was like, oh, I need something for this main section. So I was like, oh, horns might be interesting. So I kind of... Almost done with that beat. Showed you another time. Yeah, send that thing over. We got to learn how to bounce it, though. In GarageBand, it's a very specific way. And I can't remember. You know what? We're here. And as Marty McFly would say, I got all the time I need. I'm in a time machine. I got everything I need. I got Google. How to export from GarageBand Mac. Oh, super easy. To export a song, go to Share, export song to disk, choose AAC, MP3, AIF, WAV, select destination, and export. That's pretty easy. So there you go. Do we got a little video? Maybe there's a quick video. Yeah, fucking 6-minute video on export. Here we go. 1 minute video on export. Let's watch it.
Okay.
Paulita, mamacita.
On financiers.
Hello, I'm Mike Russell from musicradiocreative.com. In this video, I'll show you how to export any kind of audio from GarageBand.
Sorry, there's
So here we
there's
are. I've got
Safari
one track.
audio.
I could record multiple tracks and create anything I want. But that's all very well. But how do I actually get it outside of GarageBand so I can share it with someone as an MP3 file or another format? Well, it's very straightforward to do.
It is
Let
a
me show
learning
you.
stream
It's
today,
in the
so there
share
we go.
menu. And you get lots of different options here. Like you can share it off to iTunes. You can send a ringtone to iTunes if you want.
Oh, there
off
you
to your
go.
media browser. You can even send it up to SoundCloud, AirDrop if you've got other
So
Apple
I can tell
devices.
you right now what you're gonna want to do, Hacks. Share, like he's doing, export song to disk. The reason you're going to do export song to disk is because you can select what folder you want to bring it to. Because you were saying it goes to your Apple Music playlist, that's probably a song to iTunes, which is totally fine. But I think for purposes like, oh, you want to text it to me or whatever, you can put export song to disk, select the location you want, and then from there, you can email. If you're in the room with the person, you can AirDrop. Or if you have like iMessage, like, you know, on your computer, you can text it, you know. So this is the option I would pick. So let's watch it because he's going to show you how to select.
Traditional mail, which is your email program, or my favorite one, export song to disk. Okay, click that and you get all the options here. AAC format, MP3, AIFF. You've just got to select what kind of quality you want. AIFF is the lossless Apple format there, so that's probably great. 24-bit is slightly better than 16-bit for preserving the quality of your audio track. Give it a title, My Cool Jingle. Say where you want to save it, give it some tags if you want, and then just click export. And simple as that. It's now exported, it's on your disk, it's ready to send off to wherever you'd like it to. If you'd like more videos and tutorials, just...
All right. What I would suggest, if you are sharing your song over email, MP3 format. The reason being, MP3 format is going to give us a smaller file at fairly, decent quality, and you'd be able to, email it, no problem. AIF will probably be too large of a file to send over email, so you'd have to upload that to Dropbox, Google, or it may have you do mail drop if you're using an Apple email address like iCloud. So MP3 is the best for sharing people. Now, if you were gonna upload to DistroKid for actual streaming platform like Apple Music, Spotify, all those, then you use AIF because it's what he said, lossless quality. WAV files too. I don't know if WAV is an option. This is 8 years ago, so WAV may now be an option. WAV is also an uncompressed, lossless quality version. That's what you would send to be uploaded streaming wise. WAV I'd also recommend if you're gonna do for a music video or something, because then you're still getting the highest quality, because at some point all the streaming services are going to compress anyway the files to make them easier to stream, right? That's YouTube included. All right, if you are in Logic or Pro Tools or any other DAW, they have that option available too. In Logic it's called Bounce. There is an export option, but that's for us to do individual tracks. So if I wanted the hi-hats by themselves, or the horns or the flutes by themselves, I would use the export option. If I want to bounce the entire session with all the instruments, all the plugins, everything together, then we go to Bounce. And here under File, Bounce, Project or Section. In Logic, I can do Command B. That brings us to the bounce window, and it gives us a couple different options, similar to kind of what we saw over in that video. Boy Jacob, what's up, baby? Welcome to the chat. Wave. So PCM gives us all the lossless ones. AIF, F, Wave, CAF. I always use Wave. My bit depth set to 24, 44, 1. That's preferential. Just make sure you're consistent on what you use. MP3, I have it kind of set to 80 and 160. That keeps the file small. M4A, I don't use. Burn to CD DVD. I don't even have a CD DVD burner attached to this, so I just bounce these two. Pro Tools and Logic give you options to do an offline or real time or automatic. I don't do automatic. I don't do real time. What's the difference? Maddie, what's the difference? What's the difference? Real time basically will play the in in its entirety out loud, essentially literally recording it into a single track, right? Offline just bounces it without playing it back and just does it as quick as possible. So in cases where you want to hear everything back as it's bouncing, real time. If you want it done quickly, you can do offline. Pro Tools has a very similar option. You could choose real time or offline. I leave normalize off because that's going to do some stuff to the volume. So I don't touch that. I leave that off. And that's pretty much it. You also have the option to add to project, add to music. Add to project would mean the bounce ends up actually here in the project. Music would be Apple Music. It would add it into my Apple Music. I don't do either of those. I like to control what's going into the project and going into Apple Music because sometimes I don't want it in there. A lot of times these bounces are for me to listen to, drafts I send to people. I don't necessarily need it back in the project. I don't need it in music. But when I bounce it, like this cool down track, right? Here, let's just do a bounce for funsies. Bounce, project, or section. I'm going to do Command B. That brings us there. Boom, boom, right? And there's our project. And this is for you up-and-coming producers. Let me tell you right now, engineers are going to love you if you do this. I'm telling you right now, producers. Name of the track, your contact, ours I put in at the Sonic Writers. If it's my track, I put at Maddie Making Music. That is my IG. Everyone knows that when you put at in front of something, that's an IG or Spotify or YouTube. Like, that is very important. So they know how to reach you. You guys can kind of figure out how you want to put it, but I put a little underscore. I put FMIN. Anyone in the chat know what FMIN means? Let me know. And after that, I put 150 BPM. Does anyone know what that means? Let me know. I know you don't have GarageBand, but what's it called when you want to make a certain instrument fade out or fade in the song, if that makes sense? What that's called fading out and fading in. That's the exact term for it. In GarageBand, I'm not sure exactly how that works. Oh, there we go. Boyaka, key. That's right, sir. We're talking about the key. Why do we need the key? Well, when I send this beat to someone who's going to rap or sing or whatever to it, they might want to set an auto tune, right? Auto pitch to get the pitch correction. So they can set, now they know, oh, the producer put it in F minor. They can set their auto tune to that. And the other one I have here is 150 BPM. BPM, beats per minute, right? So when I, Maddie, the engineer, am in a session, I can set the tempo to 150 BPM, right? Meaning it'll be on grid. You know what? All right, this is the last thing I'll do because I gotta run. So we hit bounce, it bounces. So let's go ahead and pull up. I'm gonna go and save this because I didn't really do anything with it. New template, close. And we'll open up this is my recording template. It's actually my recording mixing template. I kind of put it all in one thing. I'm going to close our British friend here. And I'll make sure that bounce is available. Fade out, fade in, yeah. All right. So we're opening up a new session. And this is literally how I approach every recording session. If I'm just getting a 2-track beat, just like our beat here. This same beat, by the way. This is how I approach every single one. If I have the wave available, I'll grab the wave. But all the time, it's usually MP3. So, we'll put in the MP3. This is the MP3, right? And I put it, you saw I titled it and named it, right? Just so you guys can see. The actual track has the name of the track, the name of the producer, the key, and the BPM. These are all important information. Because now, I don't have to go back to this. I don't have to go back to the session. I might not have the session if I have the beat. So I know it's an F minor. So boom, F minor. And then I know it's at 150. Cool. 150. 185. 150. Boom. So now we put the track in that key and tempo. So now when I play it back, it should link up to our metronome. How do we check? How do I know? It sounds pretty good here. If you skip later if you skip to later in the song and this isn't correct, like your BPM, you're going to hear that it's not matching up to the metronome. So good. So that's how we know. Another thing I do from YouTube, what you're going to notice is if you do like an YouTube to MP3, it's going to add a little gap at the beginning of songs. So for example, mine, since I went straight from my bounce, it's not really going to have that. But what I usually will do is I'll find where the nearest drum hit is, mostly a kick. There's our drum kick. You know it because of that. Because of the big thing. So what we do is click there, see how close it is. And that's pretty good. But on Logic, you can right click like that, give your little bar, and hit right arrow. And that puts you right on the transient. So boom, I can do that. Get rid of this for now. Get that up right against it. Pull it up. Now that thing is locked right into your grid. Why is it important for the grid? Probably, I would say the biggest things are you're editing, you're flying tracks over. Like, for example, like a hook would be right here, but you want another hook here. Now, you could grab your hook, and as long as it's on the line, you can get the hook right on the line. It's matched up completely, right? Other thing would be for time-based effects, like delay. Our delays are set to specific tempos, right? And they're going to be going quarter notes. They're going to be going eighth notes. Now your delays are set to the tempo of the song. And so, for example, 150 BPM, your delay is set. So that's why it's so important if you are producing to put in the key, put in the BPM. If you're engineering, doing stuff like that, lining it up, making sure everything's locked into the grid. I did a session yesterday. It wasn't locked into the grid, so we had a little bit of trouble getting the choruses to fly exactly. So I had to nudge and get it in place, and we got it. It was no problem. But that's the kind of stuff, you know, it'll speed up your session if you have stuff in check. So I do take the time to make sure that we're locked in. Takes another minute or two, but it's better than me trying to drag and nudge a chorus into place. And, you know, sometimes the producers are wrong. They don't get the right BPM. They don't get the right key. So you might as well double check. There are some options out there. Antares, if you have auto-tune, has auto key. You can run that. The only problem is, I'll be honest, the key thing is not entirely accurate. The BPM's okay. I think the best BPM finder is actually Logic. It's called BPM Counter. You can see it's marked 75, but I have mine set to 2 times. Like, it's like double time, the tempo. But you can record in either, you know. But you can see when I 2 times it's 150, so it's the correct tempo. So those are a couple options. There are some websites too you can use. One I like to use, let me see if I can grab it. I have them all saved, but if you go to tunebat.com, use the key BPM finder, you select your file. So we'll use this same one. Bounce. Grab our MP3, drop it in. It's going to do an analysis. F minor, 75 BPM. Dead on. If you want it double timed with the tempo, double it. 75 times 2, 150. So there you go. Cool chat. Any other questions? Because I gotta shower and get ready for this session. I got a session at 10, which I'll be doing basically this exact same thing. So let me know in the chat if you got another question. I'll try to answer it, and then we'll cruise.
Can we really just be friends?
I hate that when I pull back up, it's my own music playing.
I thought I could.
Synthwave? Let's go with synthwave. So, yeah. So, for you engineers, make sure that you're locked into your grid. For your producers, fricking put the key, put your name, the key, and BPM. Please, 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 please do that. Please, please, please do that. Because it's going to make everyone's lives easier, and they're going to want to work with you again. Don't we want that? We want the work. So make sure you do that. It's so simple. It takes 2 seconds extra when you're in your bounce page or your bounce window to do that. Just type it in. It'll save you trouble too. And you just go straight to the track because when you go to your session, if you are just looking at the session folder, you don't even see it doesn't give you the key information here. I don't even think under like info it gives you that information. No info? No. I guess you could put it in comments. I've never done that before. But if I'm already doing bounces, you know what I mean? Like, it's already there. Because I'm not sending the session. I'm sending bounces. I'm saying MP3s or waves, whatever you prefer. All right. Cool chat. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. We appreciate you. There we go. I need the duct version. There we go. I gotta figure out a more clean way of dealing with that. There we go. Wait a second. There we go. That's the elegant way of doing that. Cool. All right, chat. Any other questions? I'm literally about to sign out. Alrighty, then we are good for the day. Tomorrow, chat, we're bringing back Feedback Friday. So send in your music tomorrow, and we'll play it on the stream. Take a listen to it. Maybe we'll throw it into a DAW, mess around with it a little bit. And if there's a lot of demand and you're trying to get to the front of the line, donations are appreciated. Get you to the front of the line. Skip the line. So that's my new money-making scheme. Let's be honest. Feedback Fridays are my most popular streams. So might as well monetize. So we'll be doing that tomorrow. I have the day off tomorrow as far as the morning, so we can do a long stream. I'll get my coffee, get my breakfast on, and we'll listen to your music. We'll do some feedback, and we'll go from there. Maybe I'll play some songs, and you guys give me feedback. My songs. Why not? Because feedback's so important for us as creators to be able to hear stuff or find out stuff about our work that maybe we aren't hearing. So, Feedback Friday tomorrow. You guys are going to come in. We're going to rock it out, and we'll vibe out. And that's how we'll do it. All right, chat. Let's get into it tomorrow. Feedback Friday. Thank you so much for all the questions from Haxie, from 808 Differential, from Astaz. Taz. There we go. And Boy Up for answering the question. He got it right. Yo, thank you so much, y'all. We'll hit it mañana, tomorrow morning, around the same time. We're going to do Feedback Friday. Send in your music to my IG, at Maddie Making Music. We'll get you started right off the bat. I'll have some music to work on. All right, let's get it. Peace, y'all. I went to the wrong screen. Peace, y'all.